beer drinkers. Maybe it's the deep amber color, or the head so thick you could float a bottle cap, or maybe it's just a freaking good beer.
Boston Beer Company, Boston, Mass. Safe and responsibly.
Hey, I'm downtown at a festival sampling the refreshing real iced tea taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea.
Man, this tastes like real iced tea.
But Twisted Tea has a kick. Twisted Tea, the refreshing hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Twist responsibly.
When even the veterans have to fight to belong on these ovals, it's clear this isn't your typical driving school. Nationwide is a proving ground designed to weed out everyone but the hungriest from the pack. Winning is surviving, and learning curves are the kind you exit at 200 miles per hour. It's anyone's race. The NASCAR Nationwide Series at Darlington, Friday at 7 Eastern on ESPN2.
We're the station in the Black Hills that's all sports, all the time. 99.5 ESPN Sports Radio, KRKI, Newcastle, Rapid City.
This is where South Dakota sports fans come to talk. Welcome to SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown. From East River to West River, finally, a sports talk show that covers it all. This is South Dakota's sports talk show, SD Sports Buzz Tonight. And now, here's Nate Brown.
And welcome back into the program. It's Nate Brown, SD Sports Buzz Tonight, live from Rapid City's 99.5 ESPN studio and worldwide, anywhere. Thanks for being a part of SDSportsBuzz.com, South Dakota's premier sports website. We welcome you in. If you want to log on to the website and listen over the next 2 hours, you can also join the live chat. So check it out, SDSportsBuzz.com. It is SD Sports Buzz Tonight at a jam-packed 2 hours. You don't want to miss a lot of great guests coming up. I'll tell you, I saved them all for tonight's show. No, all the guests we've had up to this point have been pretty solid, but tonight, special evening, and a lot of good guests to get on the program, including former All-Stater, Mr. Basketball candidate, and an all-conference player for the Montana Grizzlies in his college days, went on to play professionally in Europe, and now is back in South Dakota. We're going to catch up with Matt Martin, a former Spearfish Spartan, was just inducted into the Spearfish Hall of Fame, by the way. Matt Martin in about 20 minutes. We're also going to talk to Bob Lowry as we start the program tonight. Bob Lowry, the Assistant Executive Director of the South Dakota High School Activities Association. There are a lot of things on the docket, right? A lot of talk about rule changes and playoffs changing and possibly classes changing. We're going to cover it all with Bob Lowry, and I want to get his thoughts on all of these cuts to sports across the board. Bob Lowry, Assistant Executive Director of the South Dakota High School Activities Association, in about 10 minutes. Here's the lineup, including Colton Iverson in his first live interview since the Yankton All-Stater went to Minnesota and now to Colorado State. Colton Iverson is going to play his senior year at Colorado State for Tim Miles, a South Dakota guy. And we've got the former big guy from Yankton, the former Golden Gopher, future CSU Ram, Colton Iverson, live in his first interview coming up on the program tonight. And he's going to go play for Colorado State. How about the rival Wyoming? They have a brand new head coach, the assistant coach of the year in the country. This guy's been with Billy Donovan for the past 7 years, won a couple of national championships. Larry Shyatt, a former coach for Clemson, now back at Wyoming. He was there for 1 year, went 19-9, and Larry Shyatt's a guy who knows hoops. He's disciplined, and I went to his basketball camp. The 1 year he was there in Wyoming, I made it down to the Larry Shyatt camp, and I'll tell you, it was tougher than a $2 steak. This guy knows what he's doing, and I think Wyoming Cowboy basketball is going to have to come out of the cellar, but I think they got the right guy to do it. He did a great job at his 1 year. Most importantly, a really good recruiter. Head coach of the Wyoming Cowboys, Larry Shyatt, live tonight. We'll talk to co-Mr. Basketball, Zach Horseman. We've had Liam Duffy on a couple of times, so I thought, why not go get the Winter Warrior, future SDSU Jackrabbit, Zach Horseman, live tonight. And finally, Nico Medved, the guy responsible at Colorado State for getting Colton Iverson. He's been an assistant down there for Tim Miles for the past 4 years. Nico Medved, assistant coach for the Colorado State Ram basketball team, the guy who had the connection with Colton. Medved came from Minnesota, and I have to believe that was the draw in the inside track where Colton Iverson ends up at Colorado State. And we'll talk Rams hoops with Nico Medved, the assistant of Colorado State. A jam-packed lineup, as you can tell, and a lot of things to get to, and we will get to those. But a few stories that jump out right here on the opening buzz as we get things started on this Wednesday night. The opening buzz has to do, biggest headline in a very, very long time is Osama bin Laden getting killed over the weekend. And I just absolutely love when athletes try becoming philosophers. You know what I'm saying? They try becoming, guys that think deep and have really, really big thoughts, right? But the fact of the matter is most of them don't. I don't know why they continue to try. And Rashard Mendenhall, a classic example, the Pittsburgh Steelers running back, you've probably heard of it by now. He tweets about the Osama bin Laden killing and the celebration here in America. Rashard Mendenhall says, what kind of person celebrates death, talking about the people that were excited on Sunday night? It's amazing how people can hate a man they have never even heard speak. I don't know about you, but I did hear him speak. There was numerous videos released. And he says, we've only heard one side. This is Rashard Mendenhall. And he continued, we'll never know what really happened on 9/11. I just have a hard time believing a plane could take a skyscraper down demolition style. Okay. Those were his tweets related to 9/11 and Osama bin Laden getting killed on Sunday night. And now he comes out today and has to clarify it, right? Those are the headlines today. I love the headlines. Rashard Mendenhall has to clarify what he really meant. And he says, this controversial statement was something I said in response to the amount of joy I saw in the event of a murder. Okay, that's okay up to that point. There's a lot of mixed thoughts people have on how should you celebrate or react to somebody dying, this and that, as evil as Osama was. So I'll let that go for Rashard up to that point. And then he says, I don't believe that this is an issue of politics or American pride, but one of religion, morality, and human ethics. It was only meant to encourage anyone reading my post to think. Okay? Just trying to, quote, generate conversation. I wasn't questioning bin Laden's evil acts. I believe that he will have to face God for what he has done. I was reflecting on our own hypocrisy. During 9/11, we watched in horror as parts of the world celebrated death on our soil. Earlier this week, parts of the world watched us in horror celebrating a man's death. See, Rashard Mendenhall continues to speak and continues to dig himself a hole big time. And I just don't understand. He's now sparked this debate, by the way. Should pro teams start banning their athletes from these social websites, whether it be Twitter or Facebook or whatever? Twitter seems to be the one that gets people in trouble the most because they just spur of the moment come out and put their thoughts out there for the world to see, and a lot of these guys just don't get it. He's trying to backtrack and say, I wasn't talking about this, and I just wanted to generate conversation. Well, when you throw it out there that he has a hard time believing a plane could take down a skyscraper demolition style, that's what he tweeted Sunday night. That's where you're going wrong. And I'll tell you right now, as much as I don't like Twitter for athletes, because nothing ever good comes out of it, do you see what I'm saying? Has there anything ever good that has come out of Twitter? From athletes having Twitter accounts, have you ever remembered something great that you just couldn't miss, some exclusive stuff that just made a difference in your life, that just made a difference in the athlete's life? So why would the athletes continue to tweet and go on Twitter when all it does is get them in trouble? That's the only time we see these athletes that have Twitter is because they make dumb comments. As much as I don't like it, however, you can't ban professional athletes from doing it, right? I mean, I think I'm right when I say that. You can't ban professional athletes from doing it. Now, I do believe you can stop college athletes and specifically here in this state or wherever, high school athletes. I do believe you can ban them from using Twitter, no question about it. See, when you get to the professional level, there's a sense of, do they have responsibility? They should. They're adults. It's just a different level where you can't put any more sanctions and anything like this. You can't put rules on them that essentially should apply to kids. Now, at the college and high school level, I think you can. And Chris Peterson at Boise State, although he got into a little bit of trouble, I understand that, for minor violation this past week. Chris Peterson at Boise State, I love what he did, the head coach for the Broncos. He bans Twitter. If you're going to be a Boise State Bronco football player, you're not going to tweet. That's just the way it goes. And people have always said, well, that's encroaching on liberties and civil liberties, and how can they control the players like that? Well, do you know that, in my high school, we couldn't wear exactly what we wanted to when we went to away football and basketball games, okay? We couldn't wear anything we wanted to. These days, there's programs that run a tight ship. There's programs that say, yeah, you can wear blue jeans and whatever. So I'm saying if you can tell people the way to dress in high school, in college, you should be able to tell them, yeah, you just can't be on Twitter. It just gets you in trouble. Chris Peterson making a smart decision. There's other coaches around the country who have started doing this. I don't think you're ever going to see it at the professional level. They've done what they can, and what is that? You can't tweet before there's a certain time, an hour and a half, something like this, before or after a football game or NBA basketball game. You just can't do it, and that's more importantly so the traditional media doesn't go out of business. They don't want athletes breaking stories before the traditional media has gotten inside the locker room and had a chance to report on certain things. That's really what it's for, but it serves both. It serves that you don't have athletes making dumb comments or tweeting during games as well, because believe me, it's already happened with Chad Ochocinco. It would continue to happen, and I'm just saying, you can't cut them down in the pros. They're not going to be able to stop it, but it's just unbelievable that these guys continue to get Twitter accounts for whatever reason, for their own, self-glory, to get followers, to market themselves. That's kind of what it is. And I get it. Maybe they're trying to connect with the fans. Could they get a closer connection and you can get inside and see what they're thinking? Well, come to find out, I don't want to know what most of them are thinking. Okay? I mean, that's how it goes. I don't want to know what Rashard Mendenhall's thinking because we just found out, and he's nuts. And by the way, he's not the first guy to, comment on Twitter that it's just saying ridiculous things. And he's not going to be the last. They're not going to be able to stop it for whatever reason. The pros and not only the pros, but the college kids as well. All these guys, they continue to just throw stuff out there, and they don't realize that, okay, stop and think before you do it, because it's going to be out there. And once you do it, people are going to always forever have that. You can go and delete your post, as he did on Twitter. Rashard Mendenhall took it down. Well, it's already been thrown out there. It's already been done. It's not going to stop. They're not going to stop. But I'll tell you what, something needs to happen when it comes to athletes just thinking a little bit more. It's just unbelievable. And high school, college, let's put the hammer down. Start early. Maybe you put the hammer down in college and high school, then those guys, when they get into the pros, the select few, won't be so fast to get on their Twitter accounts and make dumb comments. A couple other things I want to get in really, really quick, and one has to do with what I'm going to talk to Bob Lowry about next. It's SD Sports Buzz tonight. It's the opening buzz with Nate Brown, just getting started this Wednesday. A lot of guys to get to, including Bob Lowry of the South Dakota High School Activities Association. Up next, we'll talk to him live about all the happenings and proposed happenings that could happen in the state when it comes to high school sports. And how about this one? Speaking of cutting things or changing the way things are done to save money, well, there's more news floating around South Dakota about certain school districts having to make cuts. But I'll tell you this right now, we haven't seen this yet, and I'm wondering, is this real? Is this something that's really going to save a bunch of money? I'm talking about the Dallas-Fort Worth area. What's going on down there in that school district, McKinney School District? They are now forcing coaches to drive the school bus for their teams to all of their games. This just came out today that there's a new initiative that is going to force the head coach, well, I guess I should say head coach, but coaches to drive their team's school buses. So all coaches in that Dallas-Fort Worth area will now have to drive their own teams to games and other road trips. Yeah, I know this has happened on a small basis, whether, it's summer league or camps or something like this. But during the season, I haven't seen it. And now they are going to force all the coaches to do it. So to accommodate this new initiative, all of the coaches down in Dallas are going to have to undergo training on how to drive a bus, right? Because you have to get a certain license. So they're going to have to learn that training and figure out how to drive a bus. And by the way, they are going to get paid, okay? I love how everybody always says coaches and high school coaches are overpaid, right? And that's what people have said when it comes to cutting sports and cutting certain things in the school districts these days here in South Dakota. Well, how about the coaches? They get too much money. Yeah, I know a lot of coaches who are really, really getting overpaid. I mean, it's just a travesty. They're going to get $40 down in Dallas. So they're going to get a $40 stipend for each game that they drive to. And what they're saying is this is going to save a lot of money. Now, without the numbers in front of me, and I'm not an accountant breaking things down, how much do bus drivers cost the school district and all the different bus drivers you have to get, I'm just wondering if this is the best choice when it comes to, a lot of coaches, and I don't know if you've been on the same bus as I have, a lot of coaches are preparing for the games. They're going over final preparations, doing certain things like this. A lot of coaches making sure that the bus is in order, making sure kids aren't going crazy. We've had a few bus incidents here in this state, as you can remember. And now you're not going to have the coach worried about what's going on the bus or worried about what's going to happen in the game, as many fans want him or her to be worried about. They're going to have to drive the bus down in Dallas. Now I'm driving the bus. Wow, unbelievable. I'm going to talk to Bob Lowry about that situation. Get his thoughts and a lot more. Bob Lowry, Assistant Executive Director of the South Dakota High School Activities Association, joining SD Sports Buzz live next. It's the opening buzz, and now we're on to the big guest here on the program. It's Nate Brown on SDSportsBuzz.com and 99.5 ESPN.
At Mel's Auto Body, we are committed to providing complete customer satisfaction through our repairs, competitive prices, and old-fashioned personalized service. This is Kevin Rohrbach. For 25 years, our family has been dedicated to returning your vehicle to its like-new condition. We use state-of-the-art equipment, highly trained techs, and work with all insurance companies to get the job done right, 100% guaranteed. Remember, you have the right to choose your body shop. We hope you choose Mel's Auto Body, located under the Big Red M on South Valley Drive in Rapid City. Check us out online at melsautobody.com.
When you want quality and value, you want Lynn's Dakota Mart. Lynn's Dakota Mart offers only USDA choice beef, as well as USDA inspected pork and poultry. Lynn's is also proud of their selection of only the freshest fruits and vegetables, the bakery and deli. Not to forget Lynn's Good Neighbor Pharmacies and Dakota Mart Gas. You'll find Lynn's Dakota Mart in 9 western South Dakota communities, serving western South Dakota for 43 years. Lynn's Dakota Mart, the better choice. Why do patients love downtown dental services? The staff gets to know you as a person. Some patients like the soft leather chairs. Many patients like how gentle the hygienist is and how they help you understand your treatment needs and insurance coverage. But all of the patients agree. You get expert dental care. Downtown Dental Professionals is accepting new patients. Become a friend on Facebook for a chance to win a free whitening treatment. Stop into Downtown Dental Services across from the library downtown or call 342-4882.
PTOT Professionals of Rapid City is the best choice when you're in need of physical therapy or occupational therapy. PTOT Professionals' 5 therapists average over 20 years experience and have extensive training in the treatment of sports injuries, back and neck pain, hand injuries, women's health, and post-surgical rehabilitation. Remember, it's your choice where you receive physical therapy and occupational therapy. Make the right choice. PTOT Professionals. To set up an appointment, call 716-6474 or online at ptotpro.com.
I grew up on a river. As long as I can remember, I've been fishing trout, walleye, bass, muskie, northern. I fished because I love to be outside. I love to be on the water. I love everything about it. The days that I don't fish, I want to be fishing. And the days that I'm fishing, I never want to leave the water. The most rewarding thing about helping a customer is when they come back and tell you that they were successful. I'm Pat Schlapper, and I'm one of the fishing experts at Shields.
Shields. When it comes to gear and expert advice, we're right there with you. And right here at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
Summer is on the way, and right now is the perfect time to get your vehicle's windows professionally tinted with Lumar window film. Street Image Truck and Auto has thousands of ways to customize your car, truck, van, or SUV for better looks, performance, and safety. From hitches and towing accessories, mobile electronics, bed liners, protective coatings, window films and coatings, and so much more, they've got what you're looking for. Street Image Truck and Auto, 1141 Deadwood Avenue in Rapid City, and 333 Heritage Drive in Spearfish.
You've got it locked on South Dakota's sports talk show, SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown.
Well, welcome back into South Dakota Sports Talk Show, live from Rapid City, 99.5 ESPN, the Black Hills' only all-sports station, and on South Dakota's premier sports website, streaming live, and, of course, live video that is going to be archived. If you can't catch us over the next hour and 40 minutes, all of the guests that are appearing on the program, this is going to be archived on sdsportsbuzz.com, so you can check it out at your convenience. It's SD Sports Buzz Tonight. It's Nate Brown, 19 past the hour. Straight ahead, Colton Iverson in his first live interview in South Dakota since the big man from Yankton transfers from Minnesota to Colorado State. We'll talk to Colton Iverson live at the top of the hour. Head coach of the Wyoming Cowboy men's basketball team. He comes from Billy Donovan down in Florida. Yeah, he's been his assistant, has a couple of big rings as two-time national champion. The assistant for Florida, now the new head man at Wyoming. He's back there for a second time. Larry Shyatt, live on the program tonight. And Zach Horseman, South Dakota Mr. Basketball, co-Mr. Basketball. Zach Horseman, a lot of people thought was going to win that one, I should say, outright. And he shares it in one of the closest votes ever. With St. Thomas More's Liam Duffy, and we'll talk to winners, Zach Horseman. That's all straight ahead. Speaking of high school sports, Bob Lowry, Assistant Executive Director for the South Dakota High School Activities Association, live on SD Sports Buzz tonight. Bob, I appreciate you taking time. How are you?
Just fine, Nate. Thank you.
You bet. I wanted to talk about this thing that just came out when it comes to 11AA football, Bob, and that's the playoff situation going to change a little bit. All 16 teams essentially getting in the past, and now it's going to be dropped down to 12. As you guys met about this, as you've talked about this, what's the reason for 11AA to go with 4 byes and go down to 12?
Well, there's been a lot of discussion the last couple years about, do we continue taking 16? There was a proposal out there at one time that we would take 14 and the top 2 would get byes. There was also talk about only taking 8 to the playoffs and eliminating that first round. And it all kind of stemmed around that first round, those first round games with 1 versus 16, 2 versus 15, and so on, that those games were just not very competitive. And it was not felt that on a school night we needed to be traveling clear across the state to play a game that was ending up, 50-0 or 60-7 and that type of thing. So ultimately this year what happened, we talked about staying with 1 through 16. We talked about only going to 8, and people felt that 1 through 16 was not workable, and they didn't think only taking 8 was really taking enough. So if 16 is too many and 8's not enough, 12 seemed to be a compromise.
Yeah, and that was my next question. A lot of people I've talked with, including a head coach at Rapid City Stevens, saying that, well, he might have a preference to, why not, let's just go down to 8 if we're going to get a real playoff system to make the regular season really, really matter. There's some people that were proponents to going to 8. What's your thought?
Well, and I would not have a problem with that. What that would have allowed us to do was spread those playoff games out a little bit, where you're only playing 1 per week, and move them to a Friday or a Saturday. Right now we play about every 5 days because we've got to play that extra round, and we don't have an extra week to get that in. But the argument against that is there's a lot of times there's not a lot of difference between teams 6 through 10. And we just felt that, if we can make 12 work, that those teams that are 9, 10, 11, and 12 probably deserve just as much of an opportunity in that playoff as maybe 6, 7, and 8 do.
Good to talk to Bob Lowry, Assistant Executive Director of the South Dakota High School Activities Association on SD Sports Buzz tonight here with Nate Brown at 23 past the hour. Want to get your thoughts. Some states play these playoff games on Fridays. They keep them on Fridays, maybe even Saturdays, such as in Montana and Wyoming, to get better crowds there. Has that ever crossed your mind? Has that ever been discussed? Is there any way South Dakota could get playoff games on nights where fans could storm the field?
Well, yeah, we talk about that on an annual basis, and really you've got two options to be able to do that. As I said earlier, we're playing, 4 rounds of playoffs in a 3-week period of time. So really we've got two options. We can either cut a game off the regular season and have a regular season that's 1 week shorter, thus giving us an additional week for playoffs, or you reduce the number of teams in the playoffs from 16 or 12, as the case will be for 11 AA next year, to only 8 and having one less round of the playoffs. And neither one of those proposals have really met with a lot of support, so we've stayed with what we've got. And we can't move the championship games to a week later to give us another week because the Dakota Dome is not available a week later. They're taking the football field up, and they're getting into basketball mode, and we're about the last thing going on in the Dome there as far as football is concerned in the fall. And then also weather becomes a big concern if we move a week later. So, yeah, we talk about it on an annual basis, but we've never been able to get a lot of support for to make the changes that would be necessary to accommodate that.
Interesting stuff. I got a few more questions with some big topics I want to get to, but I just saw today California is going to go to 16 games, including regular season and playoffs, to get a state champion. There's other states that do this, like Florida, some of these big heavy hitter states where high school athletes are playing 16 football games. A lot of people are saying it's dangerous. It's just too many games. You're talking about keeping the playoffs, so many rounds to limit games or take away a regular season game. Is that because how many games is too many for a high school athlete?
Yeah, that's a good question, and I suppose that's in the eyes of the beholder. The thing that the states like Florida, Texas, and California don't have to worry about, like we do, is weather. They're playing their championship games, as late as December, and that type of thing. We had a proposal this year to start practice in the fall 3 days earlier, and just didn't receive a lot of support at all from our member schools, because that would be forcing our kids to come back, 2-3 weeks before school's ready to start, and they're just not ready to do that. So we have to work within the confines of our school year, and then we have to consider weather and that type of thing. A lot of those other states don't have to worry about weather like we do.
No, that's for sure. If we we'd have to get everything done by early October if it was going to be nice weather for every game that we played. Bob Lowry, Assistant Executive Director of the South Dakota High School Activities Association, giving us time on SD Sports Buzz tonight here with Nate Brown, 99.5 ESPN Sports Radio and SDSportsbuzz.com streaming live video. Here's something athletic directors have mentioned when they got together. I know Wayne Carney and yourself have probably visited about this. It's not official or anything like this, but it's been thrown around as I've talked to people when it comes to the classes. Eliminating a class down in 9-man and possibly going to the biggest schools in this state with the largest enrollment, creating an 11 AAA. So you'd have a lot of 11-man classes, a couple of 9-man classes. Is this something that we're going to hear more about?
Yeah, we sure will. It's definitely in the early discussion stages, and we kind of unveiled a plan for our schools to take a look at the Spring Athletic Directors Conference. And essentially what we're dealing with is our enrollment variances with our larger schools continues to get larger and larger. Our big schools are getting bigger, and our smaller schools are getting smaller. And so what we put out there for a discussion, at least, was to go to 4 11-man classes and then only 2 9-man classes, trying to balance out the ratio from top of class to bottom of class, and then try and balance out, too, the total number of kids that are participating in those various classes. And it would only give us 8 or 9 schools in that largest class, and then there would be about 14 or 15 in the next largest, and then there would be, I believe, 24 and then 32, and that would take care of our 11-man classes. And there would be 2 classes of 9-man then with about 36 in each class. The other thing that we threw out there as part of that, which would address some of the things you talked about earlier about number of games and playoffs, is at the 11-man level, since we would have 4 classes, we would only take 8 to the playoffs in each one of those 4 classes, or a total of 32 teams in 11-man football going to the playoffs, and only play an 8-game regular season schedule. Whereas in 9-man, those 2 classes, we would only play a 7-game regular season schedule, but take 16 teams to each to the round of the playoffs, again giving us 32 9-man schools that are going to the playoffs. So we'd have 32 teams in 11-man vying for 4 championships, and we'd have 32 teams in 9-man vying for 2 state championships, again based upon enrollment variances.
You know, Bob, I'm wondering if it's been discussed when I look at other states too. You know, Pennsylvania has 594 schools, the 5th most schools of any state. They only have a 4-class system. North Carolina only has a 4-class system. Has it been discussed that is 6 classes here in this state too many?
There's some that think there are, but then again, some of the things that some of those states that you mentioned that they don't have to deal with that we do is enrollment variances. I mean, we've got schools that range all the way from 2,200 kids in high school to schools that have got 35 or 40 in high school. They don't have that issue in the state of Pennsylvania and some of those other states. You know, if we had 150 schools in this state and they were all in range from 200 to 800, we could probably get by with 3 or 4 classes of football. But you know, we don't have that, and it's just the makeup of our state, I think, warrants more classes, and then we do play both an 11-man game and a 9-man game. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Pennsylvania, the only thing they do is play 11-man. So we have it's just a different setup in South Dakota because of our rural nature. And then we've also got metropolitan-sized schools as well.
Yeah, no question about it. A different beast to attack. And as I let you go, Bob Lowry, Assistant Executive Director for the South Dakota High School Activities Association, here with Nate Brown on SD Sports Buzz tonight. You know, we're hearing more about these schools because of the cuts to their budget, what they're going to have to do in athletics. And you being a part of the Activities Association, in charge of all activities at schools, at least looking at how these schools are going to deal with this. You know, how troubling is it for you to see Sturgis, Vermilion, Todd County, they just get rid of tennis as a whole? Mitchell comes out today, and they're just going to make cuts, minor cuts, all the way across almost every sport. Aberdeen's thinking about doing that as well, widespread cuts to varsity-level sports. How concerning is this for high school sports?
Well, it's very concerning, you know. We feel that high school activities are an extension of the school day, and they've got it educationally based. And so anytime you start cutting programs, you're cutting opportunities for kids. And we certainly understand the dilemma that our schools are in, and we also understand the dilemma that the state's in. I mean, there's only so much money in the pie, and people are going to have to make some tough choices. But we're doing what we can as an association to maybe help with some of that budget crunch. Matter of fact, our board at its last meeting voted that we would not be charging membership dues for next year. We haven't done that for the last 3 years. We will not do that again next year. We're not going to charge a postage and subscription fee to our member schools. We are going to pay the entire premium for the catastrophic insurance that in the past we've purchased on behalf of the schools, but then the schools have reimbursed us then for that premium. And all those things will amount to about $240,000 savings to our member schools. Now, when you spread that out over 180 schools, it's probably not a lot, but $240,000 is a lot of money, and we're doing what we can to help maybe soften the blow a little bit with these budget cuts to our member schools.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's a tough time, no question about it, and I think more headlines are going to come out about this, schools handling it differently. Some cutting out sports completely. Others trying to pick away at certain things to try and save money. You got a tough job there, Bob, and I know you guys work hard. I appreciate you coming on the program. A good discussion. Thanks for coming on, Bob. Have a great night.
Okay, thank you, Nate.
Okay, Bob Lowry, Assistant Executive Director for the South Dakota High School Activities Association, live for the first time on SD Sports Buzz tonight here, 33 past the hour. Great discussion that he provided for us. Some thoughts that maybe fans, it's easy to criticize, and you think about everything that the Activities Association can do better, some things they do wrong. It's a tough situation with a lot of things, and there's still more issues that I couldn't get to when it comes to they're going to change the playoff format in 11AA. This class change is going to be a big one. And that's something that really gets my interest is, 6 classes, just too many here in the state. And I know it's, easy to sit here and say we need to, cut a class and figure out how it would be fair. We've talked about this a little bit before on this program. 4 11-man classes, just too many. I mean, there's no question about it. We're just going to have to put some smaller schools with some bigger schools, and everybody's going to have to get after it. That's just the way it's going to have to go. There is a way to break it up and eliminate one of those 11-man classes. I'm for eliminating 11-man class and a 9-man class. I mean, I think that's where South Dakota needs to go. Getting down to 4 classes. I mean, there's states that have a lot of schools, and they only have 4 classes. I mean, when you make 6 classes and there's going to be that many state championships, the water down effect becomes tremendous. If there's any way they can find a way, as they change this, to try and get it right, I just don't think the 11 AAA and on down the line and taking out a 9-man class is the right way to do it. You're going to have 8 to 9 schools if O'Gorman petitions up. You have 9 schools vying for an 11 AAA championship every year, and that waters down the effect of South Dakota high school football when people look from the outside. And believe me, it does. When college coaches look and think, well, this team's been a state champion and this and that, it just waters it down. Well, they competed against 8 other schools. Wow. It really does, believe me. Bob Lowry, great stuff. Appreciate him coming on the program. Quick timeout. Hang on. All-Stater from Spearfish, just inducted into the Spearfish Hall of Fame. He was an all-conference Big Sky player for the Montana Grizzlies, went to the NCAA tournament twice, played professionally in Europe, now is back in South Dakota. Not West River, though. What's wrong with this guy? He's got to get out here, West River. Matt Martin, great basketball player. Matt Martin joining SD Sports Buzz tonight, live next on SDSportsBuzz.com and 99.5 ESPN.
When you want quality and value, you want Lynn's Dakota Mart. Lynn's Dakota Mart offers only USDA choice beef, as well as USDA inspected pork and poultry. Lynn's is also proud of their selection of only the freshest fruits and vegetables, the bakery and deli. Not to forget Lynn's Good Neighbor Pharmacies and Dakota Mart Gas. You'll find Lynn's Dakota Mart in 9 western South Dakota communities, serving western South Dakota for 43 years. Lynn's Dakota Mart, the better choice. Why do patients love downtown dental services? The staff gets to know you as a person. Some patients like the soft leather chairs. Many patients like how gentle the hygienist is and how they help you understand your treatment needs and insurance coverage. But all of the patients agree. You get expert dental care. Downtown Dental Professionals is accepting new patients. Become a friend on Facebook for a chance to win a free whitening treatment. Stop into Downtown Dental Services across from the library downtown or call 342-4882.
You count on your local Napa Auto Parts store for free know-how. And right now, there's something else that's free. It's Napa's own Martin Truex Jr. Camouflage Racing Cap, free with any purchase at participating Napa stores. Show off your know-how and style in a free Napa Racing Cap. Hurry, supplies are limited. Just 1 per customer, please. This offer good at participating local Napa Auto Parts stores.
When's the best day of the week to eat at Augie's Sports Bar at the Lodge at Deadwood? How about Monday for hot turkey for $5.95, Tuesday for half-price burgers, Wednesday for hot beef just $5.95. How about Thursdays for Chef's Choice or Friday for Shrimply Delicious? Don't forget 1-2-3 happy hour from 4 till 6 and 9 to 11 with $1 off drafts, $2 well drinks, $3 signature wines, and more. I guess any day is the perfect day to eat at Augie's Sports Bar at the Lodge at Deadwood.
At Mel's Auto Body, we are committed to providing complete customer satisfaction through our repairs, competitive prices, and old-fashioned personalized service. This is Kevin Rohrbach. For 25 years, our family has been dedicated to returning your vehicle to its like-new condition. We use state-of-the-art equipment, highly trained techs, and work with all insurance companies to get the job done right, 100% guaranteed. Remember, you have the right to choose your body shop. We hope you choose Mel's Auto Body, located under the Big Red M on South Valley Drive in Rapid City. Check us out online at melsautobody.com.
PTOT Professionals of Rapid City is the best choice when you're in need of physical therapy or occupational therapy. PTOT Professionals' 5 therapists average over 20 years experience and have extensive training in the treatment of sports injuries, back and neck pain, hand injuries, women's health, and post-surgical rehabilitation. Remember, it's your choice where you receive physical therapy and occupational therapy. Make the right choice. PTOT Professionals. To set up an appointment, call 716-6474 or online at ptotpro.com. Your sports, your show. This is SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown.
Welcome back in. It is SD Sports Buzz Tonight, live on 99.5 ESPN Sports Radio, the Black Hills' only all-sports station, and worldwide streaming live video. Yes, just like ESPN. That's I don't know why people like watching radio shows, but it's fun, all right? And I even dress nicely for you. I got to make myself look good somehow, so I got the tie on and everything. We stream it live, sdsportsbuzz.com, South Dakota's premier sports website. And in case you miss a lot of the guests that are coming up tonight, just had a great discussion with Bob Lowry, Assistant Executive Director for the South Dakota High School Activities Association. We ran the gamut, went over a lot of things. In case you miss a lot of these guests, like Colton Iverson, who's coming up here in about a half an hour. Colton Iverson joining us live, the big man who's going to Colorado State, transfers out of Minnesota, leaves Tubby Smith, goes down to a South Dakota guy, Tim Miles, at Colorado State. Colton Iverson in his first live interview coming up. Wyoming head coach Larry Shyatt, who comes over to Wyoming from Billy Donovan's staff at Florida. All of these guys coming up tonight, and in case you miss them and you can't lock it in over the next hour and 20 minutes, we archive this show on sdsportsbuzz.com, and we give you the times that these guys appear on the program, so it's very simple at your own convenience to go check out these interviews. A jam-packed lineup tonight. Just go to sdsportsbuzz.com, South Dakota's premier sports website, and we'll have this show archived right away when we get done tonight. Joining us live, that's better than archived, Matt Martin, former All-Stater in Spearfish, a Mr. Basketball candidate, an all-conference player for the Montana Grizzlies, went to the tournament, the NCAA tournament twice, went to play professionally in Europe, comes back to South Dakota, joining us live on SD Sports Buzz tonight. Matt, I tell you, I tell everybody you came back to South Dakota, but you're not in West River. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, I know. Coach Sather snatched me up, and now I'm over on the east side of the state.
You're an East River guy. Okay, we play fair with everybody. Matt Martin, an assistant coach now for Paul Sather at Northern State. And you say Coach Sather, who is out here at Black Hill State, a lot of us are very familiar with him, snatched you up, and you're part of this program. Why did you decide to become part of the Northern State staff?
Well, I think there's a lot of history here at Northern with my family, especially. My brother went to school here. Both my dad's sisters went to school at Northern. So there's a lot of tradition there on the Martin side of things, and then just getting to know Coach Sather while he was at Black Hill State for all those years, and then when he was at Northern as an assistant recruiting me, so we were able to build a good relationship there, and it just was the right fit for me and my family right now. So
Matt Martin, former Spearfish All-Stater, got inducted into the Spearfish Hall of Fame this year, back in February. What was that like, Matt, getting honored for your high school career when you guys did so many great things, winning state football and basketball championships?
Yeah, it was really special to be able to do that. My brother actually went in with me, so it was kind of a cool night for our family to be able to do that. And and couldn't thank the whole administration and staff up there for putting that together for us. It was a fun night. It was versus Rapid City Central, pretty good game, good crowd. So it was really cool to be honored like that after all the hard work.
Matt Martin joining SD Sportsbuzz tonight. A great player in his high school days, went on to be a great player in college. In my home state of Montana, yes, I will admit that. I've been in South Dakota for a very long time, but from Montana and watched the Grizzly guard in the NCAA tournament. He joins us. You went over to Europe to play professionally, and I think some people lost track of you there. You went to college, people watched you. You went to play professionally, people wondering what's going on. We're just not as connected with that league over there and all those different leagues. But you played, you were averaging 17, 18 points a game. You were the player of the week a few times on your club. Why hasn't that continued for you? Why didn't you continue out there?
Well, it was kind of an interesting situation. I actually got an opportunity. I played for a year, and then after playing in England, I got an opportunity to work in the NBA with the Detroit Pistons. So prior to coming to Northern, I worked for about 12 months in Detroit as a video assistant with their staff last year, which was great. I was able to do a lot of scouting, break down film, and then be a practice player a lot of days, actually, for the guys. But it was really cool to be able to experience that, and that was just an opportunity I couldn't pass up as far as playing-wise. I didn't know if I'd ever get another shot to work in the NBA, so that was something that I really had to do.
Did you enjoy your time playing in England? How different was it?
You know, it's different. It's a different kind of game, a lot of different terminology, different pace. The referees are a lot different. You know, that would be probably the biggest thing. You see a lot of Americans go over there and complain how bad the officials are. But which was for me that I had to get used to that.
You didn't complain about officials. Come on.
No.
Not ever.
But no, it was good. It was a good experience, and now being a coach, you know, being able to talk with kids that want to pursue that and help them out as they move forward in their careers. But you know, it was short-lived. I still miss playing, but I'm glad I'm doing what I'm doing now. So. And
I know you want to be a coach. That's essentially what you want to do. Obviously, that you've made your way to Northern State with Paul Sather and his staff. Matt Martin joining us, the former Spearfish All-Stater, former Montana Grizzly, now on SD Sportsbuzz tonight. He's in his first year with Northern State as an assistant coach. Where do you want to be, Matt? Do you want to coach college kids, high school kids? Do you want to make it back into the NBA at another level?
You know, right now I'm just kind of going with the flow. You know, I'm in survival mode. It seems like with the college coaching and how it is, and there's so many good coaches out there and so many up-and-comers that it seems like your first 10, 15 years, if not your whole career, you're kind of in survival mode. So I'm just trying to take each day, and I don't know, I mean, I really, if there's an opportunity for me to be a positive role model for kids in the right environment that's going to be good for me to have a family and stuff, I think that would be the perfect situation to be a head coach and do those things. But right now I'm just kind of going with the flow and you know, grinding away. So
I'll tell you what, we're going to keep an eye on things, and I know a lot of people are glad that you're back in South Dakota, and as well as I know Paul Sather, you guys have a good thing going at Northern State. I know last year was a struggle, and some young kids on the club, but Northern State's had a proud tradition, and I think Paul Sather's the right guy to do it. Matt Martin joining us on SD Sportsbuzz tonight. I'm going to let you run, Matt. I know you're busy, and we'll let you go. We'll talk to you down the road. I appreciate you coming on.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
All right. There's Matt Martin, former All-Stater at Spearfish Hall of Fame. Just got inducted a couple of months ago. Great college player for the Montana Grizzlies. And, you know, I think he gets overlooked. And why is this? I think Matt Martin's high school career here in South Dakota gets overlooked big time. I mean big time. When do we hear about all these players, East River? We hear about players all the time, East River. Now, I'm not picking on you East River guys that are listing on SDSportsbuzz.com. Not picking on that deal because we've had a lot of great players, what I'm saying, all throughout the state. But Matt Martin was a phenomenal player. Went to the NCAA tournament twice, led the Montana Grizzlies to the tournament twice, got a win in the tournament over Nevada, almost knocked off Boston College to get into the Sweet 16. And I don't hear a lot about Matt Martin being one of the best guards in South Dakota history. And I really, really think he is when you look at his entire body of work and what he did. Let's just put it into perspective. He took the Spearfish Spartans to a state championship. And I want to say the last one to do it in AA hoops out here. Am I wrong? I mean, I'm just running through the years here, and I don't remember a time a West River team has been as good as the Spearfish Spartans were with Matt Martin. Took a Spearfish Spartan football team to a state championship, the last one to do it in the West River when it comes to AA football. I mean, this guy got overlooked big time, or has been overlooked, ever since he left high school here. Had a great career, and I believe could have continued his professional career in England. Decided to come back, and good that he's at Northern State. Paul Sather and Matt Martin, they'll be okay at Northern State, believe that. Quick timeout. Speaking of coaches, I was going to tell him there's an opening down at Colorado State. Colorado State's Tim Miles, head coach of the Rams. He's a South Dakota guy. He has a couple of assistant coaches that have left his program. He's trying to fill that void, but one major guy is staying right there. He was the guy who got Colton Iverson. Before we talk to Colton Iverson on the way here on SD Sports Buzz tonight in his first live interview, the Yankton, South Dakota native who's now going to be a Colorado State Ram, we're going to talk to the guy who recruited him there, assistant coach for the CSU Rams, Nico Medved, live on SD Sports Buzz tonight. Next on SDSportsBuzz.com and 99.5 ESPN.
When you want quality and value, you want Lynn's Dakota Mart. Lynn's Dakota Mart offers only USDA choice beef, as well as USDA inspected pork and poultry. Lynn's is also proud of their selection of only the freshest fruits and vegetables, the bakery and deli. Not to forget Lynn's Good Neighbor Pharmacies and Dakota Mart Gas. You'll find Lynn's Dakota Mart in 9 western South Dakota communities, serving western South Dakota for 43 years. Lynn's Dakota Mart, the better choice.
Wouldn't it be convenient if every member of the family could go to one dental office? Your home for family dental care is Advanced Dental Professionals. Dr. Studer offers complete dental care from crowns, veneers, comfortable cleanings, tooth whitening, preventative treatments, full mouth restoration, and much more.
Hi, I'm Dr. Studer, and I'm currently welcoming new patients at Advanced Dental Professionals.
Advanced Dental Professionals on the 3rd floor of the First Interstate Gateway Building, 343-5415. 343-5415.
Do you love turning everything between points A and B into a blur? Do you get a devilish grin the second you hit an on-ramp? If yes, then Courtesy Subaru has the car for you. The 2011 Subaru Impreza WRX STI. When you engage the 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, you're going to feel it. And symmetrical all-wheel drive transfers that power to all 4 wheels, giving you incredible traction. Plus, you've got the choice of a new 4-door design or the tried and true 5-door. So you can get more G's and love life at the front of the pack. Experience one for yourself today at Courtesy Subaru, where our cars plant trees.
Have you been looking for a workout program that will fit your busy life? Hi, I'm Tim from Black Hills Fitness. We provide free Beachbody fitness and nutritional coaching right here in the Black Hills. We'll show you a variety of workouts from Beachbody, including P90X, Insanity, Turbo Fire, Turbo Jam, Hip Hop Abs, Rev Abs, and more. You can get gym quality results in your own home. Be sure to ask about Shakeology, the incredible and delicious way to lose weight and get the nutrients you need. For more information, including a schedule of group workouts, call Black Hills Fitness at 490-5000 or online at blackhillsfitness.com.
At Mel's Auto Body, we are committed to providing complete customer satisfaction through our repairs, competitive prices, and old-fashioned personalized service. This is Kevin Rohrbach. For 25 years, our family has been dedicated to returning your vehicle to its like-new condition. We use state-of-the-art equipment, highly trained techs, and work with all insurance companies to get the job done right, 100% guaranteed. Remember, you have the right to choose your body shop. We hope you choose Mel's Auto Body, located under the Big Red M on South Valley Drive in Rapid City. Check us out online at melsautobody.com.
PTOT Professionals of Rapid City is the best choice when you're in need of physical therapy or occupational therapy. PTOT Professionals' 5 therapists average over 20 years experience and have extensive training in the treatment of sports injuries, back and neck pain, hand injuries, women's health, and post-surgical rehabilitation. Remember, it's your choice where you receive physical therapy and occupational therapy. Make the right choice. PTOT Professionals. To set up an appointment, call 716-6474 or online at ptotpro.com. Real South Dakota sports talk for real South Dakota sports fans. This is SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown.
Jam-packed show tonight. Glad you're a part of it. Welcome back in. SD Sports Buzz Tonight, live with Nate Brown from Rapid City's 99.5 ESPN Sports Radio and worldwide streaming live video on SDSportsBuzz.com, South Dakota's premier sports website, where, in case you missed, Matt Martin, the former Montana Grizzly who went on to play professionally in Europe, worked for the Detroit Pistons, now is back here on Northern State staff. Matt Martin, the former great here in South Dakota, joined us moments ago. We talked to Bob Lowry, Assistant Executive Director of the South Dakota High School Activities Association, about all the proposed changes and everything that's going on with budget cuts that schools are making to athletics. Good discussion with these guys and a lot more to come tonight. All of these guests, you'll be able to catch them again as we archive the show. With all of the guests and the live video, we'll archive it right after tonight on SDSportsBuzz.com. Just go there at your own convenience. We'll have all the guests lined out and the exact time that they appear on the program tonight, and you can listen to it all throughout the rest of the week. SDSportsBuzz.com. Mark it down. More guests coming up here tonight, including Colton Iverson in his first live interview in South Dakota, the Yankton star who went to Minnesota and now is going to Colorado State for his senior year. Colton Iverson in about 10 minutes. And then Larry Shyatt tonight, the new head coach for the Wyoming Cowboys, comes in from Florida, was there in 97 for Wyoming, went to Clemson, didn't have the best luck in the ACC. He's back in Wyoming, and a lot of good questions I have ready for Larry Shyatt. I went to his basketball camp at Wyoming. That 1 year he was there, and I tell you, I thought I was going to die. He's a pretty solid basketball guy. Larry Shyatt straight ahead, live from Laramie. But first, Arrival. Yes, I don't know how we did this tonight, but I don't know if you're supposed to have Colorado State and Wyoming on the same show, but somehow we're going to make it work. Assistant head coach for Colorado State. He's the guy who helps out Tim Miles down there, a South Dakota guy. Nico Medved, a Minnesota native, came from Minnesota, the Minnesota Golden Gophers, and has now been down there at Colorado State. Nico Medved, the assistant coach for the Colorado State Rams, on the program. Nico, I appreciate you coming on. How are you?
Nate, I appreciate it. I'm doing great here. It's just that time of year. We're finishing up recruiting. Our kids are last week of class, finals next week, and it's a beautiful weather here in Colorado, and yeah, busy as usual, but it's things are going very, very well. So appreciate you having me.
You bet. I know things are going well for you when you feel you made a great pickup here in getting the Yankton, South Dakota native Colton Iverson, the big 6'10", 260-pounder, who was a solid player for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, where you were, and that's where I want to start, Coach. You were in Minnesota. Obviously, I would think there's that relationship with Colton. How much of a benefit was that for you to get him down to Colorado State?
Well, I think it definitely helped. I think Colton's is a great kid, but obviously he was a kid that we had recruited out of high school. In fact, Colton was a kid. The first two kids, when I got the job here, I went on a recruiting trip. I got in the car. I drove to Ainsworth, Nebraska, and saw a kid named Jesse Carr, who's will be a junior guard for us next year. And then I got on the road and drove up to Yankton, South Dakota, and saw Colton. And obviously Colton's recruiting kind of skyrocketed. He ended up going to Minnesota, and I joked with him the other day, hey, everything's coming full circle, and you ended up at Colorado State like you were supposed to all along.
That's how it goes, right? Now, Colorado
Absolutely.
State, you guys have been down there with Tim Miles. What's it been like working with a South Dakota guy like Tim Miles? It seems as though, boy, just taking a look at the last couple of years, you're really starting to turn the page there. You had the one of the top 10 best improvements in attendance when it comes to the entire nation. So fans are coming out and supporting Ram basketball again. You had a 19-win season going to the NIT. How have you guys been able to do this?
Well, it all starts with Coach Miles. I mean, he's just he has an unbelievable personality, a way to motivate kids, a way to inspire a community, and you just look at his track record. I mean, anywhere he's been a head coach at almost every conceivable level of college basketball, and has won everywhere he's been. And he's really done the same thing here. And it's been a lot of hard work. I think we recruited the right kind of kids. We've built the program the way we wanted, and it's it's been a grind, but boy, we enjoyed some success this year, and it's really fun to see the fans out. We had a couple of sellouts here towards the end of the season, and the Mountain West is terrific too, Nate. I mean, it's one of the best years our league has ever had, and it was a lot of fun. And we got a lot of work left, though, and Colton's a kid that we believe is going to come in and add to that and hopefully take us not to the NIT, but to the NCAA tournament.
Nico Medved, assistant coach, I should say. You might be a head coach here sooner than later. Nico Medved, assistant coach for Colorado State on SD Sports Buzz tonight. You talk about recruiting the right players, the right kind of kids. What is it about Colton that attracted you to him? What is it about his game that makes him the right fit for the Rams?
Well, first of all, I mean, Colton's he's the center. I mean, he's a kid that he's a big physical player. And when you got guys, and Colton's also, he has an athleticism about him, too, for his size. I mean, you stand next to him, and he's a mountain of a guy. He's 6'10", 6'11", 260 pounds. He really one thing we look for in our center is the guy who can end possession. I mean, this kid rebounds the ball. He's got a nose for the ball. I mean, that ball comes off the board, and he attacks rebounds with two hands. And when he gets his hands on it, he comes up with it. He plays with a physicality in the paint that you just don't see from a lot of kids. We used to joke at a kid in our league this year, Jimmer Fredette, is one of the best players in the country, and we were lucky to hold him to 42 points, and some of that was our interior defense. And a kid like Colton really provides interior defense. He blocks shots, plays physical, and on top of his basketball ability, Nate, one thing about Colton, when you meet him, he's one of those kids that has this magnetic personality about him. You meet him and you talk to him for 5 minutes, and you feel like you've known him forever. He's a great teammate. All of our kids connected with him immediately. I think he's going to be great in the locker room. He's going to provide leadership that way and experience at the highest level. And we really feel like he's going to be a missing link. And like I said, in the year he's able to play for us, we really hope he helps bring us over the top and can make us an NCAA tournament team.
I know you weren't there in Minnesota as, his production started going down a little bit. His playing time started going down a little bit. Is this the same Colton Iverson that started 27 games as a true freshman?
I believe so. I mean, things happen, for a reason, and hopefully Colton's going to find a great fit here. And I do believe that, redshirting next year for him will be beneficial. I think he has a lot of improving he can do, and I know he's going to put in the work, and I think he's a guy that really can provide a lot. He's going to improve his offense. We're going to try to, add to his game that way, get him in the best shape of his life, and just a chance to really play and thrive and be a go-to guy for us. And I really believe he can do that. And we're looking for big things out of him. We have high expectations. And Colton has high expectations out of himself. And we have high expectations out of our team. And I think it's going to be a great marriage that way. And I know Colton's excited to get here and get to work. And we're excited to have him. And I really think it's going to be a great fit for him. And I know it's a great fit for us.
Before I let him run, Nico Medved, assistant coach for the Colorado State Rams. They got Colton Iverson, the big guy from Yankton, to come from Minnesota. He was looking for a place. He's going to be down in Fort Collins. Coach Medved joining us on SD Sports Buzz tonight. When it comes to South Dakota hoops, I mean, you talk about you made the road trip to Nebraska. You came up to South Dakota. Obviously, not a big population base. There's not a onslaught of D1 players that come out of the state, but there have been some really good ones. Talk about this Midwest area. Can the Colorado State Rams get some of the best players around this greater area, or do you guys need to go even further?
I think we have to, go wherever we need to get players. And, we're always going to have to, expand our net as far as our recruiting base. But I always believe that the Midwest and Upper Midwest is going to be an area that we're going to recruit hard. I think we have a lot of good contacts there. The other thing, Nate, is I think kids from that area of the country are just naturally attracted to Colorado. It's a beautiful place out in Fort Collins here. Every day I meet people from Minnesota, South Dakota, North Dakota, Kansas, Nebraska. They come out to Colorado and they never want to leave. And it's a transient place that way. So it's easy to get kids from there excited about Colorado and Colorado State. And when they learn about what's going on, they get a chance to know Coach Miles and our staff and our program. It's really an easy sell. So we'll always recruit that area hard. And any kids, young kids, we're going to be on them. You can bet when you pick up paper, you're going to look at those kids and say, hey, who's recruiting you? And I'm going to bet you that we're going to be one of those names.
You know, before I let you run, Coach, I've got Larry Scheidt coming up in about 15 minutes, and I got your guy, Colton Iverson, coming up next right after you. Coach Scheidt comes back to Wyoming. This guy has experience. He has a lot of great reputations when it comes to recruiting. What does that mean for the Rams?
Well, Coach Scheidt is a terrific coach, and I actually remember, Nate, I was coaching at Furman University in South Carolina, which was about 20 minutes from Clemson when Larry was the head coach at Clemson, and I think he did a terrific job, and he's obviously an outstanding job as an assistant at Florida, and he's going to do a great job at Wyoming, and, you know, there's going to be competition, and I anticipate that he's going to have those kids playing hard, have them playing the right way, and you know, so I don't expect anything less. And, you know, obviously you're always going to run into recruiting battles and all that. But, hey, we welcome the competition. We look forward to the Wyoming rivalry and making it a great one. So I know he's going to do a great job. And just don't be too nice to him now on the radio. You can say that. Don't be too nice to those guys.
That's what I'm saying. You know, the Rams and Cowboys, that's just a natural rivalry. I think it's going to be good if both teams are good.
It has. It's been a lot of fun. You know, they had our first couple of years here. They had beaten us, and, you know, the last few years we've had our way with them, and I'm expecting that rivalry to intensify. And like I said, I know Larry's going to do a great job up at Wyoming. And you just make sure that you tell Colton to keep working hard and to study hard in his finals here at Minnesota, and we're excited to get him out to Fort Collins.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to finish strong, no question about it. And by the way, pass along our congratulations to Coach Miles. He's a South Dakota guy. We want to get him on the program. Your head man who, 19 wins. He's really turning that program around. And does he really tweet all the time? I mean, this guy's addicted to Twitter. It's unbelievable.
He's really made a name for himself, I tell you what.
Yeah.
He just, Coach is just one of those guys that, he's a lot like, when you meet Coach Miles, and maybe you met him before, he's the same guy. You meet him for 2 minutes and you feel like you've known him forever. He just has that way about him, and people can't wait to jump on his bandwagon and get on board, and he is a professional Twitter, and I don't even try because I know I can't keep up with him. So.
I can't believe it. Well, congratulations, Nico, Coach Medved of Colorado State. Congratulations on you being part of that puzzle, getting Colton Iverson down there. He's a good player.
I appreciate it. We're really looking forward to it, and hopefully big things to come for the Rams and Colton in the next couple of years.
Coach, thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks so much, Nate.
All right. Nico Medved, assistant coach for the Colorado State Rams on SD Sportsbuzz tonight. He was the guy who's responsible for getting Colton Iverson. He doesn't really want to say that. He's playing the humble card there, but he was at Minnesota, had that relationship, was recruiting him out of high school. That's how Colton Iverson gets to Colorado State. And maybe I'll ask Colton Iverson myself, why did he choose Colorado State? What happened in Minnesota? The Yankton native, Colton Iverson, the big guy, in his first live interview here in South Dakota since the announcements came out that he's going to Colorado State for his senior year, leaving a place where he was very, very solid with Tubby Smith in Minnesota. Colton Iverson live next on SD Sportsbuzz tonight here with Nate Brown. Streaming live video on SDSportsbuzz.com and 99.5 ESPN.
Spring is finally here, and with it comes all the fun activities you've been waiting for at golf. Before you take that first swing of the season, you should look into SOAR Physical Therapy's Performance Golf Program. It helps to reduce injuries and improves performance with golf-specific strengthening and flexibility exercises. The staff at SOAR Physical Therapy can develop a personalized strength and conditioning program just for you. For treatment of joint and muscle pain and other orthopedic and sports injuries, come to SOAR Physical Therapy, 2050 West Main, Suite 4, Rapid City, or call 342-9575.
At Mel's Auto Body, we are committed to providing complete customer satisfaction through our repairs, competitive prices, and old-fashioned personalized service. This is Kevin Rohrbach. For 25 years, our family has been dedicated to returning your vehicle to its like-new condition. We use state-of-the-art equipment, highly trained techs, and work with all insurance companies to get the job done right, 100% guaranteed. Remember, you have the right to choose your body shop. We hope you choose Mel's Auto Body, located under the Big Red M on South Valley Drive in Rapid City. Check us out online at melsautobody.com.
When you want quality and value, you want Lynn's Dakota Mart. Lynn's Dakota Mart offers only USDA choice beef, as well as USDA inspected pork and poultry. Lynn's is also proud of their selection of only the freshest fruits and vegetables, the bakery and deli. Not to forget Lynn's Good Neighbor Pharmacies and Dakota Mart Gas. You'll find Lynn's Dakota Mart in 9 western South Dakota communities, serving western South Dakota for 43 years. Lynn's Dakota Mart, the better choice.
Golf is the best game I ever played. I love the driver. There's nothing better than having a nice solid drive. Just seeing your ball fly down the middle of the fairway is just a great feeling. The fact that I'm a woman playing for men's tees isn't something that you see very often. I get a kick out of being the girl in the pink shirt with the pink ball that hops onto the men's tees and outdrives them all. There's no better feeling to have someone come in and say that they just love the clubs that you help them get. I'm Taryn Hicks, and I'm one of the golf experts at Shields.
Shields, we're right there with you, and right here at Rushmore Crossing in Rapid City.
You know you want to work out, but there's no way you're going to a gym, right? Intimidated, not enough time, not enough money, all reasons to call us. Hi, I'm Tim from Black Hills Fitness. We provide free Beachbody coaching right here in the Black Hills. We can show you how to take control of your fitness in your home using effective workouts from Beachbody, including P90X, Insanity, Turbo Fire, Turbo Jam, Hip Hop Abs, Rev Abs, and more. For information including scheduled group workouts held weekly, call us at Black Hills Fitness at 490-5000 or log on to blackhillsfitness.com.
You've got it locked on South Dakota's sports talk show, SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown.
It is SD Sports Buzz Tonight live, 9 minutes past the hour. Thanks for being a part of the show wherever you may be. We're streaming live video, as always, on sdsportsbuzz.com, South Dakota's premier sports website, where this show will be archived, so you can check it out at your convenience with all of the great guests that have appeared. Just talked to Colorado State assistant coach Nico Medved. We had All-Stater, former Spearfish Spartan Matt Martin, who's now with Northern State on the program tonight. Still coming up, co-Mr. Basketball this year, out of winter, Zach Horseman, a future South Dakota State Jackrabbit. Zach Horseman live momentarily, and in about 10 minutes, head coach of the Wyoming Cowboys, Larry Shyatt, who goes to Wyoming from Florida. He was already at Wyoming. A lot of people don't know this. Just for 1 year in 1997, got the Cowboys to 19 wins, but more importantly, recruited a lot of great players, and that led to more success even after he left for Clemson. Head coach Larry Shyatt up next. But first on SD Sports Buzz tonight, Colton Iverson, the Yankton big man who goes to the Minnesota Golden Gophers, starts 27 games as a true freshman, and decides to go now to a different university for his senior year that's upcoming. Will have to sit out a year, but then will be there for the 2012 season as he gets ready to be a Colorado State Ram. Colton Iverson live on SD Sports Buzz tonight. Colton, first of all, I appreciate you coming on. I know finals are, getting ready to go, or they're underway, and you're trying to finish strong. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing? I'm just trying to finish up school here in Minnesota and get things going,
Yeah, absolutely, and I know it's a busy time, so I appreciate you giving us a few minutes. First of all, I just want to throw this out there. How tough of a decision was it, Colton? You've been at Minnesota, which is a great university, for a few years now, and now you decide to leave for your senior year. That had to be a very, very tough, not only basketball decision, but personal life decision.
Yeah, it's a real big decision. I mean, it didn't just happen right away. I talked to my parents, and, we just thought it was best for me to move on. I mean, I had a great experience at Minnesota, but I just feel like, it was time to move on, and I really enjoyed Colorado State, and I got a good relationship with the coaches there, and it just felt right. So, yeah.
When you talk about your time at Minnesota, did you expect to be a true freshman starter on a team that goes to NCAA tournament runs and in a great basketball program like this? I know you had high expectations, but, boy, you really started there in a great way. Did you expect that?
I mean, we expected to be a great team. I didn't know going into it that I was going to be starting 27 games as a freshman and being a part of that. I mean, I was hoping to get good playing time and stuff, but I wasn't expecting, to be that much of an impact with, 3 other freshmen that were playing a lot of minutes too. And, it was a great experience, though. We had a lot of fun, and it was awesome.
How frustrating has it been, let's say, last season, the season before? Your playing time started to diminish. Some of your numbers started going down a little bit. the frustration has to surface. You're an athlete, you're competitive, and when that started happening, how did you deal with it?
I mean, you always got to deal with ups and downs, but there's just things that it's time to move on. But I mean, last season it was real frustrating. We started off the season real good and won the Puerto Rico tournament, sponsored by ESPN, and then we lost our point guard to a foot injury, and one transferred out middle of the season. So it was hard dealing with some of those things, but you just got to keep moving on. And I thought we tried real hard this year.
Yankton, South Dakota star Colton Iverson now going to play for the Colorado State Rams. He joins us on SD Sportsbuzz tonight, 13 minutes past the hour. Want to talk about your relationship. You say you have a good one with the Colorado State coaches, a South Dakota guy and Tim Miles, Nico Medved, who was at Minnesota when you got there. What was your relationship like with Tubby Smith here in the latter stages?
I mean, he's a great coach. He's won the national championship and everything. I mean, I had a great time, a lot of learning experiences playing for him. And I mean, some things just didn't work out. And after talking with my parents, we just felt like it was best to move on. And I feel like I'm excited for my next step at Colorado State. And I'm really looking forward to getting to play for Coach Miles and Nico Medved and all the coaching staff down there at Colorado State.
By the way, Nico Medved told me to tell you, Colton, finish out your finals, study hard and do that well. So he's already on you.
Yeah, he's been calling me every now and then, making sure I'm trying to finish things up because, you got to do that. You can't just drop those, but you got to keep going.
Yeah, that's right. He was even telling me. He was even telling me to tell you. I said, "Hey, this guy's 6'10". I'm not going to touch that." By the way, I want to talk to you about the process because I know there was other universities. I know there was other people trying to get you to come there for your last year. You talk about the relationship with the coaches at CSU. Was that the biggest difference? Did you ever consider going anywhere else?
Yeah, I did. I visited a couple schools. I visited University of California and then Santa Clara, which is also in California, and I also visited Colorado State. And I basically, after those 3 visits, I just felt like I was ready to decide, and I was really excited about Colorado State. They got a great campus and a good atmosphere and a program that's on the rise. So I'm excited about all the opportunities that are being held there for me.
Former Yankton All-Stater and Minnesota Golden Gopher, now going to be a Colorado State Ram for his senior year. The big 6'10" guy joining us on SD Sportsbuzz tonight. This is Colton Iverson here with Nate Brown. It sounds like you didn't consider a lower division school where you may not have to sit out a year. So rumors got started that, maybe the South Dakota Coyotes would have a shot at you. Were those just, ill-advised rumors?
I mean, I saw there's a couple of rumors going around, but I did have contact with South Dakota State, USD, and Augustana, and also Northern State. And, I mean, you always want to, look at opportunities to play in your home state, whether it's Division I or Division II. And I did have contact with coaches from all those schools, but, I mean, in the long run, it just didn't work out. And, I mean, I didn't get a chance to visit the campuses, but I know I really did want to look into the opportunities there.
Yeah, Colton, I want to ask you, you do have to sit out a year. This is going to continue to work on your education and academics and everything that you want to get done as you get a degree. But sitting out a year, that's probably something that's not the most ideal. How do you see that working next year?
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough mentally, just to keep working hard every day, even though you can't play. I mean, I've only missed one game in my whole basketball career, whether it's been middle school to high school. But, I mean, I think looking at it, you just got to look at it the right way and keep working hard every day. We can improve. I'll still be practicing with the team. The only thing I'll be missing is the game. So I'm gonna look at it as an advantage to keep developing because I think I got a lot of room to improve.
Before I let you run, how about your teammates at Colorado State? This is, you're going to meet some new guys. Do you know any of these guys? How's this going to work out? It seems as though you're going to have a pretty good senior class with you in the 2012 season.
Yeah, they got a real good class that's coming up and a lot of good younger players. And, I mean, they had a good team this year and a good run. But, I met the guys when I went down there on campus, and they were all great guys. They had a couple guys from Nebraska that I met out of high school. So, I mean, I'm just really looking forward to getting along with those guys, and it should be a great experience.
I know a lot of South Dakota fans are watching you, man. We're looking forward to seeing how things work out for you. We kept an eye on you out in Minnesota, and now at Colorado State. You got 1 year left, and I know you're going to make the most of it. I appreciate you coming on the program, Colton. I'll stay in touch with you, okay? Have a good summer.
All right, sounds good. Thank you.
All right, Colton Iverson, big man out of Yankton, goes from Minnesota to Colorado State in his first live interview in this state since that happened. He's going to be a Ram, and again, has to sit out next season, but then will be eligible, and I believe will make an impact for the Rams in the Mountain West Conference. Colton Iverson live on SD Sports Buzz tonight. We'll keep moving tonight. 18 minutes past the hour. Speaking of the Mountain West, brand new coach just on up the road. Colton's going to be battling against Larry Shyatt, and that's going to be a battle, believe me. Head coach of the Wyoming Cowboys just named moments ago. Larry Shyatt comes from Florida, where he's been an assistant. As a matter of fact, named the top assistant in the country under Billy Donovan in Florida, has 2 national championships. Larry Shyatt now back in Wyoming, where he only spent 1 year. A lot of high expectations for this guy who made an impact immediately back in 1997. 60-year-old Larry Shyatt, a veteran in the college ranks, joining SD Sports Buzz tonight in an exclusive. Next on SDSportsBuzz.com and 99.5 ESPN.
PTOT Professionals of Rapid City is the best choice when you're in need of physical therapy or occupational therapy. PTOT Professionals' 5 therapists average over 20 years experience and have extensive training in the treatment of sports injuries, back and neck pain, hand injuries, women's health, and post-surgical rehabilitation. Remember, it's your choice where you receive physical therapy and occupational therapy. Make the right choice. PTOT Professionals. To set up an appointment, call 716-6474 or online at ptotpro.com.
I'm Jim Cook, brewer of Samuel Adams. Why is Boston Lager loved by beer drinkers? Maybe it's the deep amber color, or the head so thick you could float a bottle cap, or maybe it's just a freaking good beer.
Boston Beer Company, Boston, Mass. Safe and responsibly.
Hey, I'm downtown at a festival sampling the refreshing real iced tea taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea.
Man, this tastes like real iced tea.
But Twisted Tea has a kick. Twisted Tea, the refreshing hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Twist responsibly.
Summer is on the way, and right now is the perfect time to get your vehicle's windows professionally tinted with Lumar window film. Street Image Truck and Auto has thousands of ways to customize your car, truck, van, or SUV for better looks, performance, and safety. From hitches and towing accessories, mobile electronics, bed liners, protective coatings, window films and coatings, and so much more. They've got what you're looking for. Street Image Truck and Auto, 1141 Deadwood Avenue in Rapid City and 333 Heritage Drive in Spearfish.
Presenting Nology's best deal ever. Take advantage of our all-access package, including digital cable, high-speed internet with a free speed upgrade to 25 megs, and unlimited long distance with Smart Choice phone. You also get a free upgrade to HD DVR for a year. Get it all for only $79 a month with no contracts. Sign up today. This offer won't last long. Call 800-514-4001 or visit us at connectwithnology.com. Nology, what can you do? Available to new customers only. Certain restrictions apply.
Honey, come here, quick.
What's wrong?
I just dropped my contact lens in the sink.
Oh no, wait, here it is.
I don't know what I'd do if I'd lost these things.
You should consider iLASIK. It's safe, proven, and today's technology even treats NASA astronauts and military pilots.
How do you know that?
A coworker had iLASIK at Black Hills Regional Eye Institute. She said they have great surgeons with lots of experience. Plus, they're offering $1,000 off right now.
What's their number?
718-EYES or visit LASIKRapidCity.com.
Honey, you're the best.
Your locally owned, nationally known Midas Auto Service experts perform services that might surprise you. For example, alternators, coolant system flushes, engine diagnostics. How about an oil change with a 41-point vehicle check? Batteries, water pumps, transmission flushes. Of course, Midas also offers lifetime warranties on brakes, mufflers, shocks, and struts that are honored nationwide. Why, they even pick up and deliver your car from work. Now that's complete car care from Midas Auto Service experts. 1701 West Main, Rapid City. All fleet services welcome. Call 348-7723.
Why do patients love downtown dental services? The staff gets to know you as a person. Some patients like the soft leather chairs. Many patients like how gentle the hygienist is and how they help you understand your treatment needs and insurance coverage. But all of the patients agree. You get expert dental care. Downtown Dental Professionals is accepting new patients. Become a friend on Facebook for a chance to win a free whitening treatment. Stop into Downtown Dental Services across from the library downtown or call 342-4882. When you want quality and value, you want Lynn's Dakota Mart. Lynn's Dakota Mart offers only USDA choice beef, as well as USDA inspected pork and poultry. Lynn's is also proud of their selection of only the freshest fruits and vegetables, the bakery and deli. Not to forget Lynn's Good Neighbor Pharmacies and Dakota Mart Gas. You'll find Lynn's Dakota Mart in 9 western South Dakota communities, serving western South Dakota for 43 years. Lynn's Dakota Mart, the better choice.
PTOT Professionals. Your sports, your show. This is SD Sports Buzz tonight with Nate Brown. PTOT Professionals.
And welcome back into SD Sports Buzz tonight with Nate Brown. It is South Dakota Sports Talk Show. Glad you're here worldwide at SDSportsBuzz.com, South Dakota's premier sports website, live video streaming there. Also, we're going to archive this show as we always do, so at your convenience over the rest of the week. After tonight, we'll have it on SDSportsBuzz.com. Just click on the video. You can watch any part of the program. We'll have it all labeled out and all the great guests that appeared on the show tonight. Just in case you missed Colton Iverson, we just spoke to the big man out of Yankton in his first live interview in South Dakota since the decision came down that he's going to leave Minnesota and go and play his senior year for the Colorado State Rams. Colton Iverson, moments ago, we talked to the CSU Rams assistant coach, Nico Medved, who was responsible for getting Colton Iverson down there in Fort Collins. Matt Martin joined us tonight, the Spearfish Hall of Famer and All-Stater, former Montana Grizzly, who is now back in South Dakota after working for the Detroit Pistons. Matt Martin, now with Northern State. All of these guys have been great, and we'll have them archived on this show after tonight on SDSportsBuzz.com. You can click on the video anytime. Still coming up, Larry Shyatt. Are we going to be able to get Coach Shyatt? Oh, that's him right there. It's Coach Shyatt calling my cell phone. We'll have to get Coach Shyatt once again. I can't get him on my cell phone, so you can watch it. And there's Larry Shyatt calling me. We'll get Larry Shyatt, head coach of the Wyoming Cowboys, here very, very shortly. But first, co-Mr. Basketball in the state of South Dakota, Zach Horseman, who is going to be a South Dakota State Jackrabbit, joining SD Sports Buzz tonight. Zach, good to talk to you again. I'll tell you what, I thought you were a slam dunk that you were going to win Mr. Basketball. I just didn't think you were going to share it. Boy, it was a tight vote, and you share it with a good friend of yours, Liam Duffy out of St. Thomas More. Liam said he wouldn't want to share it with anybody else. What was your thoughts when you both got that award this past weekend?
Yeah, I was definitely excited, both for me and for Liam, because I know I was talking to him afterwards. He was pretty surprised, and I know the votes they said were the closest it's been in a while. It's like 5 guys within 3 votes or whatever it was.
Yeah, no question. Very, very tight vote. And when you think about this award, let's just put it into perspective. This is an all-class award. It goes to the best player in South Dakota. When you were growing up, when you were watching the guys in high school and you were a middle schooler and then you got a chance early on to play, did you ever think that you would be South Dakota Mr. Basketball?
No, not when I was coming up early. That wasn't even thought in my mind, I guess.
When you think about what it means, and you put yourself up to all these great players, the likes of Mike Miller, what does it mean to you? What are your thoughts that go through your head?
Yeah, well, it definitely means a lot, and I really appreciate everything from everybody, Coach Drake, and my family, of course, my mom, my dad, my sister, and then both sets of my grandparents and aunt and uncles that always come, and then what Hanson Anderson does for Mr. Basketball, it's a special award.
Yeah, no question. Zach Horseman, the winner standout, co-Mr. Basketball with Liam Duffy of St. Thomas More. You're going to play at South Dakota State. We visited about this a little bit. When it comes to going to playing at South Dakota State, what are you working on right now? I mean, you're trying to finish out high school. You got graduation coming up, but are you already getting into the workouts and things of this nature that you need to get done for South Dakota State?
Pretty much just been lifting and then shooting at nights. I'm going to go up there in the summer and start summer school and do the workouts up there with them.
I know it's one of those things you're thinking about is, what type of level is this, South Dakota State basketball going to be like? This is going to be a whole different level, and that's something that has to be on your mind.
Yeah, I know it's definitely going to be a challenge, but I think I'm ready for it.
When you talk about being Mr. Basketball, this is Zach Horseman, a winner. not a lot of West River players have won this, and how about in 2011, there's 2 West River players that share it. That's kind of a special deal because I know here in South Dakota we had this little rivalry, West River, East River, and I know the East River guys always get a lot of the credit, right? So it had to be something that you and Liam talked about. Hey, it's good to bring it home for West River.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely nice to rub it into the East River guys a little bit because I have quite a few friends from over there, so it's kind of a good little bragging rights. So.
It is a little bragging rights, and us guys in West River can get on your coattails a little bit and ride it with you. That West River brought home a Mr. Basketball award. Over at South Dakota State, Corey Jacobson, a kid from Viborg Hurley, is going to get on that program and try and make that roster. Have you talked to him? Did you know him? And what do you think about Corey Jacobson joining the team?
Yeah, me and Corey are pretty good friends. I was probably more excited when he told me he was coming to state than he was probably. We're going to end up rooming together, I think, in the fall, so this should be a lot of fun.
So you guys are going to be roommates?
Yep.
All right. You guys are going to be roommates. And Corey Jacobson, here's the deal, Zach. He's not as tall as you. You can do a lot of athletic things. I mean, you're the guy that everybody's talked about. Well, when I watch Corey, boy, he had a great season this season for Viborg Hurley. He's one of those kids that really, really works hard. He's going to have to, I guess, beat the odds is what some people are saying. But what do you think are his chances? I mean, you're in the same boat. Just because you're, a guy that's got recruited there, you're also going to have to prove your mettle.
Yeah, well, Corey definitely will have a shot because he's one of the best shooters in the state, and I think he has a pretty good shot. And he would have had a better senior year this year if he wouldn't have been hurt all year, too. So
I think you guys will be 2 guys that we're going to watch very, very closely at South Dakota State. Congratulations on the Mr. Basketball Award. And, I guess the only guy missing that you guys could have tried and picked up was the guy I just talked to, Colton Iverson. He said he visited with South Dakota State, but you couldn't get him, Zach.
Yeah, that definitely would have helped.
That would have helped, right? That would have helped, a big 6'11" guy down there for you to play inside-outside game. Again, congrats on the Mr. Basketball. I appreciate you coming on and have a good rest of the school year and graduating, and we'll talk to you down the road as you get ready for South Dakota State.
All right, thanks again, Nate.
All right, I appreciate it. Zach Horseman, a winner, co-Mr. Basketball with St. Thomas More's Liam Duffy. And again, that's, I really thought he was going to be the guy without a doubt. I thought Cedric Lang from Sioux Falls O'Gorman, who's going to UTEP, would sneak in there. And by the way, Liam Duffy, who I've watched and covered for many years, a great kid, a great player. I was still surprised that, wow, a co-Mr. Basketball, and the vote was so tight because all we've heard about is Zach. As we've just heard about Zach Horseman. Zach Horseman, really neat, a really great accomplishment that Liam Duffy and Zach Horseman, co-Mr. Basketball for West River High School sports. Still alive out in West River, okay? I mean, there's still some great athletes out here in West River. Congrats to Liam Duffy and Zach Horseman. Straight ahead, Larry Scheidt. He was calling my cell phone, and I got to get in touch with him right now. It's good to have on the brand-new head coach for the Wyoming Cowboys. I'll tell you, what an exclusive to have on SD Sports Buzz tonight, 31 past the hour. You want to hang on. Coming up next, the top assistant coach in the country, a 2-time national champion with the Florida Gators, an ACC coach for Clemson for 5 years, Larry Scheidt, back in Wyoming. Head coach of the Cowboys in the Mountain West Conference, joining SD Sports Buzz next on SDSportsBuzz.com and 99.5 ESPN.
Spring is finally here, and with it comes all the fun activities you've been waiting for, like golf. Before you take that first swing of the season, you should look into SOAR Physical Therapy's Performance Golf Program. It helps to reduce injuries and improves performance with golf-specific strengthening and flexibility exercises. The staff at SOAR Physical Therapy can develop a personalized strength and conditioning program just for you. For treatment of joint and muscle pain and other orthopedic and sports injuries, come to SOAR Physical Therapy, 2050 West Main, Suite 4, Rapid City, or call 342-9575.
At Mel's Auto Body, we are committed to providing complete customer satisfaction through our repairs, competitive prices, and old-fashioned personalized service. This is Kevin Rohrbach. For 25 years, our family has been dedicated to returning your vehicle to its like-new condition. We use state-of-the-art equipment, highly trained techs, and work with all insurance companies to get the job done right, 100% guaranteed. Remember, you have the right to choose your body shop. We hope you choose Mel's Auto Body, located under the Big Red M on South Valley Drive in Rapid City. Check us out online at melsautobody.com.
When you want quality and value, you want Lynn's Dakota Mart. Lynn's Dakota Mart offers only USDA choice beef, as well as USDA inspected pork and poultry. Lynn's is also proud of their selection of only the freshest fruits and vegetables, the bakery and deli. Not to forget Lynn's Good Neighbor Pharmacies and Dakota Mart Gas. You'll find Lynn's Dakota Mart in 9 Western South Dakota communities, serving Western South Dakota for 43 years. Lynn's Dakota Mart, the better choice.
Honey, come here, quick.
What's wrong?
I just dropped my contact lens in the sink.
Oh no, wait, here it is.
I don't know what I'd do if I'd lost these things.
You should consider iLASIK. It's safe, proven, and today's technology even treats NASA astronauts and military pilots.
How do you know that?
A coworker had iLASIK at Black Hills Regional Eye Institute. She said they have great surgeons with lots of experience. Plus, they're offering $1,000 off right now.
What's their number?
718-EYES or visit LASIKRapidCity.com.
Honey, you're the best.
Your locally owned, nationally known Midas Auto Service experts perform services that might surprise you. For example, alternators, coolant system flushes, engine diagnostics. How about an oil change with a 41-point vehicle check? Batteries, water pumps, transmission flushes. Of course, Midas also offers lifetime warranties on brakes, mufflers, shocks, and struts that are honored nationwide. Why, they even pick up and deliver your car from work. Now that's complete car care from Midas Auto Service experts. 1701 West Main, Rapid City. All fleet services welcome. Call 348-7723. Your sports, your show. This is SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown.
Welcome back into South Dakota Sports Talk Show worldwide, streaming live video as we always do on SDSportsBuzz.com, South Dakota's premier sports website. Check it out, SDSportsBuzz.com. We welcome you in wherever you may be listening around South Dakota, around the world. Check out after tonight, we always archive this show as well, so you can watch all of the guests that have appeared on this program, and it's been a jam-packed lineup tonight, and it continues to get better and better. So just in case you haven't listened over the past hour and a half, and you want to hear some of the great guests that have appeared, we'll have them broken down, and you can do it at your own convenience. After tonight, we'll archive this program on SDSportsBuzz.com. You can go right there and watch it. And, of course, we're live on 99.5 ESPN Sports Radio, the Black Hills' only all-sports station. Just talked to South Dakota co-Mr. Basketball, Zach Horseman, out of Winter, who's going to be a South Dakota State Jackrabbit. Congrats to Zach winning Mr. Basketball, the premier high school award around the country. And Colton Iverson, yes, Colton Iverson was an all-stater, played for the Minnesota Golden Gophers, is now going to go down to Colorado State. We talked to the big 6'10" guy in his first live interview in South Dakota since that decision was made. He's going to go play for Tim Miles, another South Dakota guy, head coach of the Colorado State Rams. It's been a jam-packed program. Speaking of Colorado State, they don't like Wyoming. And Nico Medved, the assistant coach for Colorado State, said, when you have Larry Shyatt on, you can't be too nice to him. Little does he know, my brother is an old Wyoming Cowboy, and I've went to numerous Wyoming Cowboy games. Larry Shyatt, the head coach for the Wyoming Cowboys, is back in Laramie. He was there in 97, 98, and now he's back. A top assistant in the country, a two-time national champion, Larry Shyatt on SD Sports Buzz tonight. Coach Shyatt, I appreciate you coming on. First of all, how are you?
I am doing great, Nate, and I'm glad to be on the show.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm glad to get you on because you don't know this, but back in 97 and 98, I went to your first basketball camp, okay? I went to your first Wyoming Cowboy basketball camp, and I'll tell you, you almost killed me. I thought I was going to be dead at the end of the week.
I was going to say, did you enjoy it? But I guess you rather abruptly talked about that camp.
Yeah.
No.
I did enjoy it. I did enjoy it.
That's great.
I did enjoy it, but I'll tell you, the word goes around that you run a tight ship and you get things done, and it's a disciplined program, and, boy, you've had a great career. But I wanted to throw that out there. Your 1 year in Laramie, I got down to your camp, and I was lucky that I did. Let's talk about the 1 year in Laramie. You were there 1 year as the Wyoming head coach. You go and take your dream job, as you called it, at Clemson, and now you're back at Wyoming. Why did you go back? Why did you leave Billy Donovan's staff?
Well, let's start out by saying that my answers the last month have sort of been shortchanged because I don't think anybody really believes, but honestly, it's a very simple equation. I had an easy job and a great job with Billy Donovan, a dear friend, and obviously overpaid and winning a lot of games, but not nearly the challenge. And when we left Wyoming 13 years ago, we didn't feel good about how we left. I wouldn't regret it because I did that for my children. They all wanted to go to Clemson. They all miss Clemson. But there was a piece of us that was missing there. The people in Wyoming have been so good to us, so kind to us, gave us our first opportunity that when the athletic director and the president met with me this past spring and sort of, laid out a very realistic picture, last place the last 3 years, but, we've lost some of our love affair with the people of the state. Would you consider coming back? And Pam, my wife of 35 years, looked at me and said, you know what? We've always been about challenges. We got it pretty easy at Florida. Why shouldn't we end it this way? So this will be our last college job, and hopefully we can get this thing back competitive like they want it to be.
This is Larry Shyatt, Wyoming Cowboy men's basketball coach, just named that. He's been on the job for about a month. He joins us on SD Sportsbuzz tonight here with Nate Brown. I'll tell you, you talked about it. The Pokes have struggled a little bit. No, not a little bit, but a lot. 3-13 in the conference this past year. Coach Schroyer was 49-68, the only winning season coming back in 08 and 09. You had a 19-9 record right away in 97 and 98, and most importantly, you got some guys in there. They had continued success after you left. The expectations are high, Coach Shyatt. That's what I'm saying. I haven't seen Cowboy basketball fans be this excited for a long time. How do you manage that?
Well, I think that they have been very realistic in their disappointment of where they're at now. And I would also think that they just want some kind of appeal to their emotions. These are spirited people. These are down-home, loving people. And there's only one state in America that has one 4-year college, and that is Wyoming. So, the old expression in baseball, if you build it, they will come. Well, we were living proof in 97 that we did not get very good crowds early, but as we won more and more and played into the hearts of these people, just in terms of competitiveness, they started to come. There's been a history here, and hopefully in the not-far-distant future, that's what we'll give them, a team that they love watching and hopefully a team that some other people don't enjoy playing against.
Larry Shyatt's been named the top assistant coach in the country, two-time national champion with Billy Donovan at Florida, coached in the ACC with Clemson, now back at Wyoming where he was for 1 year. And Coach Shyatt joins us on SD Sportsbuzz tonight, streaming live at sdsportsbuzz.com and 99.5 ESPN Sports Radio, the Black Hills' only all-sports station. I want to ask you, how much better is the competition there in the Mountain West? I mean, the Mountain West Conference, basketball-wise, has improved tremendously, or at least getting more teams into the tournament, competing on a national level. How much better are the opponents that you're going to face than they were back in 97, if you think they are better?
Well, first of all, Coach Fisher, Coach of the Year in the nation, what more can be said about him at San Diego State, and Coach Rose at BYU, who's just left. Sensational jobs along with Coach Alford and obviously Lonnie Kruger at Vegas. Those four guys, if I'm not mistaken, went to 3 of the last 4 NCAA tournaments and did well for the league. And the old WAC, as we knew it, with Bear Haskins and the BYU in Utah and great tradition of New Mexico, also had some great teams. The dynamics have changed some, but the one common denominator is from a national level, they've never really got the respect that you would like or maybe deserve until this spring. And I thought because of not only 4 teams that were high-caliber teams, but more importantly because of Jimmer Fredette and the tremendous polish and the tremendous accolades he received all year long, I think that sort of vaulted them in a place that they had not been for a long time.
Yeah, no question about it. We haven't seen a player like get that much attention out of the WAC. There was the Keith Van Horns. There were players of this nature, but Jimmer Fredette kind of took the country by storm. Coach, when you're there in Laramie, I've been there a lot. As I said, my brother's a former Cowboy linebacker and competed when Joe Tiller was the head coach for the Cowboys. When you think about Wyoming and Laramie, and great facilities, no question, and it's been improved. As you probably see now that you've been back there, things are in a really good spot when it comes to facilities, but it's kind of tough to recruit there every now and then from what I've heard from coaches. As I've talked to Tiller in the past couple of years, as he's mentioned things of this nature, how tough is it for you to get the quality basketball players that you need to get to Wyoming?
Well, recruiting in general is tough. And I think that there are two avenues different people take. I mean, if they're going to pass the eye test and just go after talent and sizzle, that is one thing, and I think you can accumulate talent anywhere you're at. I think it's when you really look deeper and try to get the young person that you need that's a fit for your program that also has the core values and the academics. Then it becomes far more difficult because the pool gets shallow. And that's what we're going to try to do here, is get that balanced individual. And yes, it's difficult, but it's difficult in a lot of places. I was in Providence, which is a great traditional school, but you're not going to live off of players in the state of Rhode Island. So there's a lot of places for geographic reasons that are difficult. That does not mean they're too tough, because at least Wyoming has won a national championship, 43. They have won several league championships, and they have been to the NCAA tournament in recent years. So it can be done, and it has been done here.
Coach, I know a lot of people expect you to come right in and have the same success, 19 wins, get those recruiting classes that you got while you were there. I know the expectations are very high. What's your overall thought on how long is this going to take to get Wyoming not only back to the top of the conference, but back in NCAA tournaments?
I would never talk about goals for tomorrow, and I would never talk about where at the end of the road you are. I would, however, talk about exactly what our administration talked about when we sat in Atlanta and assessed the situation. And that was, we need to get back to being a competitive team, a team that is fun to watch by our people, and a team that's not looked forward to playing for our opponents. I think with that said, if we get the right kids in the right situation, and we can draw a nice love affair again with this community and this state, those things will happen. But I think, it's about living today. It's not about living yesterday, and it's definitely not about dreaming about tomorrow. It's what happens today, how can we get better, and that's going to be our approach. We're not going to be focused on what we have to do down the road. We're going to be focused on what can we do today to make ourselves better, and hopefully baby steps.
Wyoming head coach Larry Shyatt back in Wyoming, went to Clemson, went to Florida under Billy Donovan. Now the Cowboys head man once again. He joins us on SD Sports Buzz tonight, and I'm going to let you go with this. Looks like a good recruiting class, Coach. I mean, it's kind of tough to tell. You got some quality players. How they're going to work out the college level in the Mountain West Conference, nobody knows. You're going to groom them and work with them, but I'm not going to go through them all. We don't have time, but I do want to throw out a basketball name that a lot of fans just know is Larry Nance. Well, you get a kid, Larry Nance Jr., out of Ohio. Talk about this kid and the promise he has.
Well, Larry Jr. is a late bloomer, and I knew about Larry last year. My son saw him play with a good friend of mine. I go back a little deeper because when I was at Clemson, I brought back Tree Rollins, Larry Nance, Dale Davis, Eldon Campbell, Horace Grant, a slew of terrific former pros that had not ever come back and been invited back to Clemson. So when I got the job, I contacted Larry Sr. because I knew about his son. Thank goodness he had made some visits, but he hadn't yet made a decision, and we were able to put some things together and at least put an attractive potential future for Larry in front of him. I think he has a chance to be a good player. I know he's a great kid, and Jamie and Larry have done a great job raising him.
I know a lot of people saw that name and thought immediately, well, Larry Nance was a heck of a player, and he kind of grew later as well. We'll see how it turns out. in Laramie for Larry Nance Jr., one of the recruits Larry Scheidt's bringing in. Coach, I know you're busy. It's a busy time of year. We hope to get you back on this program. There's a lot of Wyoming fans here in South Dakota, and we look forward to talking with you again about Cowboy basketball. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, Nate.
Okay, I appreciate it. Larry Scheidt, head coach of the Wyoming Cowboys. I'll tell you, he ran me through the ringer, man. I went to his camp back in '97. Tougher than a $2 steak. Oh, man. Good coach. I'll tell you that right now. Just a good coach and a good recruiter. Wyoming Cowboy basketball will be respectable, no doubt about it. Wyoming Cowboy basketball will be respectable, and I will argue this, okay? I think Wyoming Cowboy basketball might get more attention here over the next couple of years, even than Wyoming Cowboy football. It's always been a football tradition down there, and there's been a lot of success, but not as of late. Yet Coach Christensen, who's a tough guy, former offensive coordinator out of Missouri, goes to Wyoming. You know, he's the guy who had the Jeremy Macklin and the Chase Daniel at Missouri. Yes, Dave Christensen, head coach at Wyoming, started out gangbusters, took him to a bowl, really stepped backwards last year, did his club. And I want to say Wyoming Cowboy basketball is going to be hot on their tails as who's getting the most attention down in Laramie now. Larry Scheidt makes a big difference. Tough place, though. Tough place, no question about it. And I know the Mountain West Conference, you can argue, just got a little easier when it comes to basketball. And that's another reason. You know, Wyoming football is going to have to go up against Boise State, Fresno State, Nevada. Those basketball programs not as good as their football programs as the conferences change. Quick timeout, and then we're going to wrap things up tonight. Hey, we can't forget about him, Patrick Duffy. Patrick Duffy, Rapid City Journal, live, wrapping up the show tonight next on SDSportsBuzz.com and 99.5 ESPN.
At Mel's Auto Body, we are committed to providing complete customer satisfaction through our repairs, competitive prices, and old-fashioned personalized service. This is Kevin Rohrbach. For 25 years, our family has been dedicated to returning your vehicle to its like-new condition. We use state-of-the-art equipment, highly trained techs, and work with all insurance companies to get the job done right, 100% guaranteed. Remember, you have the right to choose your body shop. We hope you choose Mel's Auto Body, located under the Big Red M on South Valley Drive in Rapid City. Check us out online at melsautobody.com.
PTOT Professionals of Rapid City is the best choice when you're in need of physical therapy or occupational therapy. PTOT Professionals' 5 therapists average over 20 years experience and have extensive training in the treatment of sports injuries, back and neck pain, hand injuries, women's health, and post-surgical rehabilitation. Remember, it's your choice where you receive physical therapy and occupational therapy. Make the right choice. PTOT Professionals. To set up an appointment, call 716-6474 or online at ptotpro.com.
I'm Jim Cook, brewer of Samuel Adams. Why is Boston Lager loved by beer drinkers? Maybe it's the deep amber color, or the head so thick you could float a bottle cap, or maybe it's just a freaking good beer.
Boston Beer Company, Boston, Mass. Safe responsibly.
Hey, I'm downtown at a festival sampling the refreshing real iced tea taste of Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea.
Man, this tastes like real iced tea.
But Twisted Tea has a kick. Twisted Tea, the refreshing hard iced tea that tastes like real iced tea.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Twist responsibly.
Summer is on the way, and right now is the perfect time to get your vehicle's windows professionally tinted with Lumar window film. Street Image Truck and Auto has thousands of ways to customize your car, truck, van, or SUV for better looks, performance, and safety. From hitches and towing accessories, mobile electronics, bed liners, protective coatings, window films and coatings, and so much more, they've got what you're looking for. Street Image Truck and Auto, 1141 Deadwood Avenue in Rapid City and 333 Heritage Drive in Spearfish.
Presenting Knowledge's best deal ever. Take advantage of our all-access package, including digital cable, high-speed internet with a free speed upgrade to 25 megs, and unlimited long distance with Smart Choice phone. You also get a free upgrade to HD DVR for a year. Get it all for only $79 a month with no contracts. Sign up today. This offer won't last long. Call 800-514-4001 or visit us at connectwithknowledge.com. Knowledge, what can you do? Available to new customers only. Certain restrictions apply.
You've got it locked on South Dakota's sports talk show, SD Sports Buzz Tonight with Nate Brown.
Hope everybody's having a great night, man. It's been a fun show. Glad you're a part of it. SD Sports Buzz Tonight here with Nate Brown, 52 past the hour as we wrap things up tonight. A jam-packed lineup in case you missed anybody or everybody. You can catch them again. We're going to archive this live video broadcast on sdsportsbuzz.com, South Dakota's premier sports website. So go to sdsportsbuzz.com. After tonight, we'll have this live video webcast right there archived with all of the guests and all the times that they appeared, so you can break it down at your own convenience. Tonight, we had Colton Iverson in his first live interview on the program since the decision for the Yankton Star to go from Minnesota to Colorado State. We talked to the Ram assistant coach who was responsible for getting Colton down there, Nico Medved, and got the CSU perspective. Also, speaking of Mountain West hoops, Larry Shyatt, brand new head coach for the Wyoming Cowboys, comes from Billy Donovan down in Florida, was assistant for him as they won 2 national championships. Larry Shyatt named the top assistant coach in the country. Good exclusive with Larry Shyatt, the new Wyoming head coach. We also had Zach Horseman, co-Mr. Basketball, on tonight, and a former All-Stater, a Hall of Famer in Spearfish, and a former Montana Grizzly Big Sky Conference All-Conference player. Matt Martin joined us tonight as well. So it's been a fun one, and you'll be able to see it at your own convenience after tonight on sdsportsbuzz.com in case you missed any of those guys. Patrick Duffy of the Rapid City Journal joins us each week. Good to get him on the show. Patrick, we had Bob Lowry, Assistant Executive Director of the South Dakota High School Activities Association, on at the start of the show, and I know you and I have talked about certain things when it comes to all of these changes that could be happening, and it was a good discussion I had with Bob, and the thing we discussed is how many classes are too much for South Dakota sports. When it comes to high school, 6 classes right now, and it sounds like they're going to keep 6, and he didn't really shy away from that it's going to be a serious thing being thrown out. 4 11-man classes in football, 2 9-man classes, and I'm looking at it here, Patrick, and North Carolina, big state, a lot of high schools, only 4 classes. Pennsylvania, only 4 classes. How does South Dakota need to have 6?
Well, I mean, I don't know why they need to have 6. To tell you the truth.
Come on, give me the breakdown.
I wish that I had some kind of answer for you. I don't have an answer, and I think it's crazy to have an 8-team class. No matter what you think the enrollment numbers are telling you or whatever. I don't know. There's too many, in my opinion. I think we need basically 1 9-man class. I think it'd be just fine. But that's I'm not privy to those discussions, and I'm not invited to too many of them.
And that's your opinion. Well, I agree with you. I'm thinking you could get rid of at least another 11-man class, and obviously if you wanted to have a couple of 9-man classes, I'm fine with that, but we don't need to add another 11-man class. As you say, 8 to 9 teams competing for a state championship. It just really waters down the situation when whoever wins the state title, boy, it's going to be watered down within the state. Think about people looking, college recruiters coming in and looking, boy, they won a state championship, and there was 8 teams that they had to beat.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the thing. Having a class that small where you're saying I'm a champion, I mean, that's winning a conference championship, basically, in my opinion. I don't see how anybody thinks that's a good idea to name a state champion from amongst 8, 9 teams.
I saved my tough questions for you, Patrick Duffy, the Rapid City Journal. I saved my tough questions for you to give me some honest breakdown here. Hearing more news about other school districts as the cuts come down from the state, they have to cut. And taking a look at sports, Sturgis, Vermilion, Todd County cutting varsity tennis. Aberdeen's thinking about widespread cuts to varsity sports in football, in even basketball, some of these mainstream sports that people say. Mitchell's going to take out the scalpel, and they're going to cut a little bit from everything. I don't know what the right decision is. These administrators are faced with a tough circumstance. What's the best way to do it? Cutting a complete sport that only has limited participation, cutting a little bit out of each? How can these guys do this?
Well, I mean, it's a horrible decision to have to make. I don't know what the decision. I mean, I'm assuming from school district to school district it'll be different, but I mean, it's what happens when everybody's screaming about not wanting to pay taxes all the time. I mean, this is what you get. So I don't. It's too bad, but we've been barreling down this road for a long time, spending money and not paying taxes.
Did you hear about down in Dallas, they're now, with significant budget shortfalls. In Dallas, they're making the coaches drive the team buses now. Every coach is going to have to undergo training and get a bus license. They're going to have to drive their own way.
And I hadn't heard that, but hey, that's pretty good. I guess you're going to have to be a certified athletic trainer and coach and bus driver here pretty soon.
That's what I'm saying. I know you have to do certain things, and maybe that's their best decision down there. I don't know, but I'm saying, come on. I always hear about everybody complaining. Boy, high school coaches. You want to talk about they get paid too much, and that's what we should cut. And I think it's a joke. And now we're going to make them drive the bus. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, if anybody that wants to talk about high school coaches getting paid too much, I pretty much tune them out right after they say that. That's just crazy talk. I think you're probably right. So, yeah, down in Dallas, they're going to have to be driving the bus, not preparing a last-minute game plan. There's all sorts of things that are going to go wrong. And then all the fans and the parents are going to say, hey, how come we're not better? How come the coach isn't ready? Well, he's having to drive the bus and make treats. Right? I mean, that's what's going to happen. They're going to continue to hammer the coaches, and now the coaches have to do everything. Well, yeah, it's just kind of a fact of life. Everybody does more. Everybody's got to. I mean, it's I don't know what to say. It is what it is, and I don't find Patrick Duffy speechless very often. Believe me. Patrick, I appreciate you coming on. We got to run. We'll get you on next week, as always. Appreciate you shooting around the high school scene a little bit for us. Thanks. Always nice to talk to you, Nate. All right, Patrick Duffy, Rapid City Journal, good writer. Good to get him on the program. SD Sports Buzz tonight. It's been a jam-packed show, and we're wrapping up right now. You can go to sdsportsbuzz.com after tonight. Click on the video. Watch any guests that you want to see in case you missed them. Larry Shyatt, Wyoming head coach. Mr. Basketball, Zach Horseman, a winner. Colton Iverson in his first live interview in South Dakota on the air tonight. Now that he's going down to Colorado State, the former Yankton star. Matt Martin of Spearfish now at Northern State. And Bob Lowry, you don't want to miss that, the assistant executive director of the South Dakota High School Activities Association. Really appreciated his insight, his time, his information, throwing some stuff out there that I think a lot of people are misguided on. Great stuff. It'll be archived on sdsportsbuzz.com. Thanks for listening to the program. This has been Nate Brown on KRKI Newcastle, Rapid City. This has been ESPN 99.5 and sdsportsbuzz.com.
You're listening to the station dedicated to sports 24/7. 99.5 ESPN Sports Radio, KRKI, Newcastle, Rapid City.
VP Award to United Center, Derrick Rose becoming the first Bull to win it since Michael Jordan. Commissioner David Stern presenting the Bronze Award to Rose before tonight's Game 2 between the Bulls and Hawks. Second-round playoff series. Atlanta won the opener. Rose left the game at the very end with a twisted ankle. Able to practice yesterday and this morning and has 20 points so far tonight.